Hello, Bucks fans. Welcome back to Real Bucks Talk. In today's video, we are going to talk about Josh Grizzard and the Buccaneers offense and how do we expect it to change from last year. He talked about how the player utilization might be a little bit different, a little bit more use of running backs in the passing game, vertical routes, etc. So, Mark, when we look at this offense, what can we expect going forward into 2025?
A big thing with him, he said a lot of it was winning in the trenches. So that's usually how you, I guess, tire people out, tire the other team out, right? Getting time of possession. Look what the Commanders did to us in that playoff game. It was pitiful, the time of possession dominance that the Commanders had. So that was a big focus of what I thought his press conference was about. But also, he mentioned Mike McDaniels a lot, how much of an influence he had on him, and that's why we had the Dolphins depth chart up there. A lot of it's speed, yes, but they play to what they have the most of, right? He mentioned how they have Mike Evans and they play to their players that they have. Do we add speed players like that with a lot more jet sweeps? Because we didn't see that much because we didn't have that type of, I guess, caliber player, right? They can win with just speed and outside. Does that give you more room for Palmer, right? Or does it give you more room for, say, Cameron Johnson, who was a big show out on the training camp staff or training camp last year, but then he got hurt. Didn't really see him. You only saw him in gadget plays. That's something also I wanted to touch on. Like a lot of the Dolphins plays were fun, creative gadget type of plays. Do we see guys like Cameron Johnson make a bigger showing because of that? And like 6 to 10 plays a game around there. It's just more the fun plays you can kind of add instead of sticking to your guns, so to speak, your consistent plays. But like he said, the foundation's laid out. Now they can add on top of it. And does that add into the creative plays like I was mentioning?
Right, for sure. I think, when you look at Miami, obviously their offense, like you touched on, built on speed. They have a lot of speed at the skill position players, even at tight end, they have speed. And that was another thing that he mentioned. He talked about Devin Culp yesterday about how his speed and really excited to utilize him. So I think you're going to see the tight ends, receivers, running backs all be utilized a little bit differently. There's going to be a little bit more use of vertical shots. Running backs going to be more utilized running actual routes, not just screens or bubbles. They're going to be out there utilized to run precise routes and get matchups that they can win. And then with the receivers, like you talked about, I don't know if it's necessary to add more speed. I think they're just going to look at what they have. And Evans, obviously, McMillan, Chris Godwin, he touched on a lot yesterday. So you would assume he's back in the fold. So that will be, something to look at. But just pulling up, we got this off the internet here, but this is just key aspects of what the Dolphins present. And I think you could see a lot of this come into play for the Buccaneers next year when you look at pre-snap motion, which we did do quite a bit last year. Vertical routes, I think, is going to be more heavy utilized because you want to get those explosive plays, and then play action. And obviously, the biggest factor is that action, which is sustaining drives for sure. So, just your thoughts on that market as well.
Yeah, sustaining drives, adding to my time of possession thing, it's like winning through the trenches first, right? And a lot of that starts with the running game. You got to be able to run the ball to win games. You pass to score points, but you got to be able to run to win games. And as you see, heavy use of pre-snap motion, that's not going to go away. I know a lot of people were scared once Liam Cohen got the job at the Jaguars. Holy crap, the offense is gone. This guy comes from the Mike McDaniels coaching tree. He already saw what Liam Cohen has. So it's the same, like he said, foundation, same system. He's going to add his own wrinkle to it. As he said, we're going to take it to the next level. What does that next level include? Is it even more motion? Is it even more speed? We don't necessarily know, but there's just a little snippet pre snap motion, vertical routes, play action, cheat motion, a lot of sustaining drives. You hope we keep seeing this running game because it went from nothing to a damn top five running game last year. We want to see more of that in Tampa Bay because it has been very missed.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to pull this back up. This is just stats from last season for Miami, and you can see how heavy utilized the running backs are in the passing game. I mean, A Chain here had 78 receptions, 87 targets, which is pretty impressive. And so, obviously, I don't know if Bucky and Rashad are going to get that many targets, but you can see how important it is to get the ball in their playmakers. And obviously, these are their top playmakers, and they were heavy in receptions. Jonu Smith, new tight end, had 88 catches. So he was heavily utilized. So it just shows like I think that Mike McDaniel's way of thinking, Josh Grizzard is going to take that as, and the same thing with Liam Cohen. It's understanding who you have on your team and try to maximize them the best way. So you can see that across the board for Miami, and that's exciting stuff for Bucky and Rashad and even Sean Tucker to be utilized more in the passing game because they are a matchup when they're out in space. And then you have receivers that can do a lot of different things. Mike Evans, for most of his career, was probably one of the best vertical players in the league. He still is. He just wasn't utilized in that way often last year. So I think you can see more of that coming. And obviously, Jalen McMillan, same thing. Chris Godwin can win downfield. So there's a lot of good things. I think probably Devin Culp. I'm really excited about him. We'll have to do a an individual video on him later on, but yeah, a lot of good stuff there overall. So yeah, I mean, bottom line is we're going to see more of this stuff, coming forward, and I think that's important that the offense doesn't stay the same. Even though they have continuity, they are changing things to keep defenses off balance.
Yeah, because you gotta think about it. You guarantee you he had ideas he wanted to use. Yes, he was the
Right.
third down mastermind behind everything, but he himself says he draws up plays, he thinks things differently. It was just staying within the same foundation of what Liam Cohen wanted to give. So does he bring sprinkles of this? And then looking at the talent level that they had, yes, they have speed, but we had a lot of guys like possession receivers you could throw up, you can find mismatches with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin. You find ways to get them the ball. It's not necessarily using one system where we're at. And
Mhm.
plus, look at level of play. People be like, why would we be the Dolphins? They didn't even make the playoffs last year. Whole little different story. Okay. There's injuries involved. There's different caliber players. Like there's ways you can use guys. If you're just a speed game, you don't have much strength to it or bodying people out. It's a big difference. So I think the offense that you have on the Buccaneers is just so well balanced. And that's why all these offensive coordinators come here and succeed because there's so much you can utilize here. And Baker is pretty much telling you he's a pretty damn good quarterback right now. And a third year, second year under the same system, let's see how good he can truly be because he's just getting better and better. It seems like every damn year in Tampa.
Right, absolutely, and to add to that, I think Josh Grizzard talked about it yesterday of being involved in the draft and analyzing not only free agents but upcoming prospects. So, and we know Jason Light has added a receiver pretty much every draft, and that could be the case this year. Maybe he goes out and gets someone with more speed or someone that can make plays downfield. Maybe that's an option that they look at, or maybe it's another guy like Cameron Johnson who can catch things underneath and make things happen after the catch. So we have to keep in mind for those things. But overall, I think it's a lot to be excited about, a lot to um, analyze as we move forward into the offseason and get these clues that are going to come out later on. But with that said, hope you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts of, do you see the Buccaneers using more of the Miami offense, or how do you see it playing out this season? And with that said, everyone have a great week and go Bucs.